Okay. If I put that on screen, does the audio work? Testing audio. Okay, I believe we got it. That took a minute, and I had to restart the stream, but I guess I can change the heading into subtitles and whatever. The thumbnail meant later. Okay, it looks like it's working. I'm gonna confirm that it's working. Okay, the stream is on now. That took way too long to set up, but at least now I understand what the issue would be for next time. Okay, commentary. Yeah, let's go. I had to just be tech guy for a second. I'll just post the link to the new stream, since of course this one decided not to work. There's still a description, right? Yeah, just no thumbnail. Okay. Audio's on. We're live. That works. We have an interesting setup from both players. Again, another route, which is not normal to say the least. Another route. Like it's like a curse that I'm bringing along to these games. An interesting take on the route setup. Okay, yeah. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, that's good. Okay. I did not. That was not fun, to say the least. That wasn't fun. Trying to get the audio to work. I'll try and connect phones. Let's see if that breaks everything. Hopefully not. Okay, so route setup again, very interesting. This time I'd say it's a lot better for the Empire because I mean it's probably going to be interesting that it's not ruled by Fear on Corellia, but I guess worried about a sabotage. We have an early infiltration. I'm like, trying to catch up with all the stuff that I missed. Build Alliance and Seleucumai, kind of baiting the Empire to go. So it's an interesting setup. This happens some of the time when you play this game, especially early on. The rebels would just bunker down in Moncal, and kind of force the Empire to go. I remember one time I was like, okay, yeah, there's no way they put the base there, and then the base ended up being there. So that wasn't a fun game. But yeah, loyalty on Seleucumai. I mean, so far, what I've missed, or at least what I've seen, has been a very interesting game. I don't think there's been any like not so great plays, I'd say, if I can say that, from either player. But as I was saying at the beginning, before I realized that nothing was working, this is Eiddee versus Derrode. I should really start asking for pronunciation. But yeah, so starting action cards. Clearly, we had Temporary Alliance with Mon Mothma. Not a fun card to play against. Just puts Moncals on the queue. Not simple because you go in Utapau. And Vader going to Utapau. Now, for the Rebellion players watching, what that might mean is Taj is not a capture. Mon Mothma, because Mon Mothma and Utapau, Eiddee, she knew that Mon Mothma would be in Utapau. So they could plan accordingly. And yeah, capture the leader, as expected. So Leia's going to block. This is a pretty important role, so let's see how it goes. Ooh. Ooh, wow. Okay. Great early start for the Empire. Very good early start. That was an amazing dice roll. So it looks like there's like 2 minutes of, no, not 2 minutes, like 15, 20 seconds of stream lag. That's not normal, but it's fine. As long as you can hear me. Yeah, early capture on Mothma. I don't think Eiddee would pull this off unless she had a good um, interrogation. Unless there was some good interrogation card to play. Um, yeah, definitely. So, interesting. Okay. Both players had a bit of a chat before starting the game. So they'd start a little bit earlier, or earlier than the stream went up. So no cool intro for the stream that will be posted. Again, if you're watching the replay a couple days later, it is because uh, my audio just wasn't working, and it was a whole thing that you have to add it to the scene. But whatever. We're back now. Hopefully we're back now. Again, I'll just double check one more time. Okay, looks like everybody can hear me. Okay. What have I missed? Lando and Piet. Okay. I think we had Piet last game as well. Last game that I watched. Pretty interesting, I'd say. I had a poll up and everything. Everything was set up on that stream. Guess we'll have to do it for next time. Interesting start, I'd say. A good start for the Empire, obviously. Having a captured leader early on is great, especially since it's so difficult to pull off at the competitive level. But neither action card played by Eiddee here, whereas the Rebels have played both of their starting action cards. So quite interesting. Again, with Lando, independent operation, always on the list of cards that could be played. Um, with Piet, I believe it is track them. No, not track them. That's a starting action card. It's no retreat and ready for action. No retreat. It's in the name. Um, Rebel units can't retreat. And ready for action, I believe it's like if they're in a battle, you can pull them out, which is both distinct cards. But the real power is the fact that Piet has 3 space, so now Empire has 2 3-space leaders, whereas the Rebels, their max is still 2 space. So tactic values, that is. So that's the strength behind it. Let's talk about the build queue. Obviously, interesting that it's route setup again. So Death Star turn 3, 2 AT-ATs. I generally don't like having loyalty for 2 AT-ATs because they just run out really quickly. There's only 4 of them that the Empire can produce. So in the end, they're just going to have 2 planets that are sitting there waiting to be attacked by the Rebels. Yeah, that's Spoonwise is right here. I'll put it on screen. The Rebels have definitely been winning a lot of the games recently. There have been Imperial wins. It's true. There have been Imperial wins, but Rebels have been crushing it. And like we said previously, in the last game, if you haven't watched that one, um, we're going to change sides. If someone's playing the side too many times, and especially if the other person wants to switch sides, then we're definitely going to change sides or make the players switch sides. Because again, this is all for fun, anyways. Put that comment off screen. There we go. Okay. Perhaps I can still start a poll, but then I'd want to upload a thumbnail and everything. It's too late to do a thumbnail. Okay. Rebels, hope I didn't miss that. I think they're reinforcing on, yeah, they reinforce on 1 Calbis. There's 2 Y-Wings there. And perhaps another speeder troop. Interesting. Okay. Speeders for the Rebels, definitely a great unit because you start with 2. Some games Rebels will go completely without getting a single speeder. I remember the last game we commentated, Rebels got just maxed out on speeders, which is not common at all. But definitely, I'd say strong start for both players. This is turning out to be a pretty interesting game. Captured Mothma, plenty of stuff on the Rebel build queue. So I guess we'll have to see how it goes. My question is, will there be an interrogation mission this turn? because I think it's very, very risky to run a capture, waste one of your leaders on capture without having guarantee that if I capture a leader, at least I have a good mission to play. So I'm looking for Vader on a mission. I'm looking for Palpatine on a mission. Depending on that, we'll probably determine if there is any interrogation plans. Now, we also have to keep in mind Vader's card, which, I mean, I seem to always get to draw. It is when a rebel leader is rescued, you can capture the leader who is attempting the rescue. But the reason that card isn't so great is that card has so many conditions. For example, or not for example, but one of the big conditions is that Vader has to be on Utapau, which is, or on the planet where the captured leader is on. In this case, Utapau, which is not easy to pull off because then Vader is blocking an intel mission, and Vader has no intel skills, as you can see. So you're just wasting a leader to keep the captured. Vader's card is tricky to play, and in the end, cards like Tarkin's are just much better. Pretty quick start, I'd say, though. Pretty quick start, and looking much better for the Empire than last game. No first turn strike kind of thing, which is unusual, but then again, interesting. I wonder what Eiddee will do here, because an attack towards Moncal is risky, especially with one Star Destroyer. Yeah, splitting up the Star Destroyer and Assault Carrier, not normal as well. Normally, you want to keep your fleets bunched up together, especially in the early game. Is that because unless she moved the Gazan too much, now I'm just talking absolute smack for no reason. But you want to keep your fleets grouped up together. Perhaps it was grouped up. And in the later game, many Imperial players will tell you this. It's like the 4 planets that where if you keep your fleets there, they're in opportune places to really move anywhere. That's Mandalore, Toydaria, Geonosis, and Sullus. That's the opportune places to move. But don't take it from me. So it looks like 2 missions Eddie's thinking about playing. My thoughts, interrogation mission. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. Especially when you're attempting a capture. But who knows? Anything's possible. Here, I'll try to put up the poll so I can talk about that. Just gotta do this thing. Yeah, if you see my mouse moving, by the way, that's not me clicking things on your screen. That's kind of just me running around on a different screen or different tab. Okay, there we go. I'll change the thumbnail and all that and delete the old video. But the poll is up. I guess I know what the issue was now. Okay, so target and Taj on missions. Not interrogation, like I thought. Interesting to run a capture so early on without interrogation, but perhaps Eiddee already has interrogation. She's planning on just keeping Mon Mothma. Maybe she's banking on a rescue mission being played. I think having a rescue mission this early on would be unlikely for the rebels, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, the thumbnail's just my profile picture. That's not fun. Okay. Low engagement kind of thing. Here, I can put the poll on screen as well. Like that. Okay. Rebels playing Infiltration. Fairly standard. Fairly standard. They're not going... Empire's not going to go for another capture. They already have Mon Mothma. That's one of the best leaders to capture early on. Better might be Leia, but Mon Mothma is definitely in the top for leaders to capture. Okay. So it looks like the poll is literally 50-50 right now. But there's only 3 votes. Okay, Piet moving to Naboo. Makes sense. Cover rebel loyalty. But rule number 2 is destroy rebel units. So I wonder what Eddie's planning on doing for that, or in that regard. Lando doing rapid mobilization. Now that's something that wasn't done last game. Playing rapid mobilization is good because you get to cycle through the probe deck. Which, if the player is playing rapid, what I'm thinking as an Imperial player is address delays from Tarkin. Good, more stuff on the build queue. What I'm thinking is the base is on Monkel. They put units there. The base is on Monkel. They know they're gonna have to move it. They can't just bunker down there. So they're searching through the probe deck to get a look. That's what I think. Now, of course, this could just be bait. But I mean, I was right with the capture, so we'll see. That's Riken on a mission. Probably no, not sabotage. Build alliance, of course. If rebels are playing build alliances every turn, there's an issue. Now, where could they build alliance though? And should they even build alliance? Because Palpy and Vader, I mean, they should definitely try. But Palpy and Vader are benched, so they're ready to go block it. Yeah, you're gonna have to make odd plays with this. If I were Rebel player, now I'm not the best Rebel player by far. Yes, as Spoonwise said, we're not professional esports casters yet. Judging by, I still haven't removed that little poll sign. Yeah, let me scroll down there. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, Riken build alliance makes sense in Cato. If I was Empire, block this like because it's practically guaranteed. Again, I don't know the plans of the Empire, but I think blocking Cato, there's no ships nearby. It would take 2 turns to get ships over there, or place them from the build queue, which I wouldn't want to do. So I would block it. But perhaps Eiddee has a trick up her sleeve. Interesting. Okay, gives the loyalty away. Again, as casters, you might look at us like, okay, what are these people saying? But we have no view. We don't know what's in the probes. We don't know what missions they have in hand. We did this specifically to avoid cheating, which obviously makes sense. I'm not complaining. If anything, it adds to the mystery, keeps all the players going. But yeah, interesting play. Not blocking that. I wonder what Vader is going to do because, okay, moving to Alderaan, I don't think the base is there, but I mean, I've lost to many Alderaan bases, so I'm never going to jinx anything. Let's see. No, no base. Probably still Monkel. If I had to pick one spot, it would be Monkel. Pass, yeah. So pass with Leia. If I were playing, I'd put Leia on build lines. I think like it blocking missions is good, but like, and especially since Mon Mothma was captured, but I feel like Leia's just not going to do much and be better to guarantee the build lines. But hey, the build lines is played anyway, so we're all good. Doing some R&D, looks like. R&D, obviously crucial. You can get interdictor very early on. I'm always happy with that. I like interdictors way more than I should, but that's just a rebellion pet peeve of mine, if you will. Okay. Again, interesting turn. No move to Seleucami. So that means more Monkels heading, or sorry, I shouldn't say that when Vader's still on the bench or in the pool. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So move to Seleucami. This is what I really hate about the Moncal play. The base is most likely on Moncal, as I've said prior. But the Imperial fleet just has to grudgingly move towards it. I'm sure reinforcements are going down there. I'm sure an AT-AT, a Gazon, or an AC. I'm sure ships are going down there. Because if the rail base is there, it's not looking good for the Empire. But again, you cannot choose a base and make it obvious. Like if the base is indeed Moncal, then the rebels have hunkered down. The Empire has to crush it. The rule number 3 of the we should make a doc. Star Wars Rebellion basic rules for the Empire is to destroy rebel units on the board. So the Empire is going to go there no matter what, which means that if the base is there, they're basically baiting the Empire to go there. Yeah, so just find the deck. This is good because I haven't mentioned it. Just hover over the deck. So both players are playing base. Just giving them a little tip, if you will. Spoonwise saying moving everything so you could retreat to Felicia. I mean, yeah. Um, again, this has just been with route setup. I feel like route setup just throws everything off. Yeah, both players playing base. Again, easier for me to cast base, but not easier for me to cast route setup, which I feel like you have to go with route setup if no Salukamai, but it just, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Sailors. So, Ratmo, yeah, still have to resolve that. But no interrogation. Mothma still captured. No rescue missions. The thing about rescue missions is the rebels could have like 3 of them at hand. Obviously, they'll discard them, but the rebels could have so many at hand that they're ready to play them. Sometimes rescue missions can feel like a default mission that the rebels have, which is like one of the 4 missions that just refreshes every time you play it. But sometimes you can play rebels and not draw a rescue mission, for especially when you need it. So Mon Mothma, who knows how long she could be captured there for? This card is flipped up. Not sure why. Yeah, okay. That's odd. Just probably a bug. Okay. Um okay. Yeah, it's just bugged. Okay, both players trying to okay, perhaps like I was thinking it might be a glitch on our side, but yeah, I agree. Sometimes it is worth giving the Empire a Moncal. Now, think we might have seen their cards. I tried not to look at them, of course, because it's not my job. But one card that isn't a default card might have been flipped. Don't look back on the screen and the stream. Yeah. So as Spoonwise said, I'll bring up the comment. Sometimes it is just worth giving the rebels a Moncal because um it like putting all your forces, like throwing the forces at Moncal, if the base is indeed at Moncal, just feels not great to say the least. Ratmo was played to put troops back into the rebel base, so it's not great. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what leaders both players recruit. Okay, Chewie and Awesome. Now, if you're an Imperial player or just a Rebellion player in general, you know how important Ozzel can be. Ozzel can make or break games. His card is basically you get to move before the rebels, which right before finding a base could be game changing. Ozzel isn't a very good leader when it comes to the tactic values. Two and one, but his mission card is very good. Just draw guaranteed 4 probes. Um, just still looking back at that Ratmo, it feels Also MVP here. Oh my gosh, I left the comment up again. Should move the mic out of the way. Ozzel is a just great Imperial leader. If I don't know any scenario where I wouldn't pick Ozzel, very very few. But yeah, just look at that Moncal. It's a trap. Akbar would say it. It is most definitely a trap. Always lags when I move around. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, it's a trap. If the Empire goes there right now, the Rebel base is there. Fleet destroyed. quite frankly destroyed. Now there are no 3 space leaders that the Empire has, or that the Rebels have. The Empire has 2 3 space leaders, but still, that Rebel fleet and Rebel forces are massive. It could deal some damage, lucky dice for the Empire, but it is most likely just going to end in pain and misery if they were to move to Moncal. That's why sometimes it is just worth giving the Rebels a Moncal, because you save some of your fleet. Very, very interesting thing in Star Wars Rebellion. It, like, a lot of people say, "Oh no, like the Empire is so powerful. How did the Rebels ever win?" But when you actually get to the nitty grittiness of it, the Empire is the one running around scared. Like, where's the base? Are they going to attack me here? So, interesting parallel. While both players are deploying units, just reinforcing a bit of an odd play in Naboo, but it's fine. There are links to the Discord server. I put it in. I realized the link didn't work last time, so I put it in the channel description. That's when you click on the picture and then like more on the main channel page. There's link to the music at the beginning if you want to listen to that. Great song. Don't own it. But yeah, this is not for profit, by the way. That's why I'm using the song. I was not granted permission, but we're allowed to use it if it's not for profit. Okay, moving on. Death Star coming soon. Coming to a neighborhood near you. And not deploying the 2 AT-ATs. Very peculiar. I don't. If the bunker was also not there, then I'm even more. Yeah, AT-AT and Seleucami. You gotta reinforce Seleucami. If the base is in Moncal, attack on Seleucami, it's game over. It's not gonna work. That's true, Richard. You have to know the base in Moncal. Okay, yeah, you're right. I can see your point, but there's a part of me that just feels like you go to Moncal right now. Sure, you drop 2 AT-ATs, but you go to Moncal right now. They play. How many speeders do they have right now? They have 3 speeders. I feel like, you'll lose that battle. And if you lose that battle, sure, you know where the base is, but where are your forces that are going to help out? It's going to be long before, and the rebels are going to be long gone. That's, again, my opinion as Emperor. I've been a bit rusty, so don't take my word for it. But yes, obviously figuring out the base is important, but I can't help but feel like if we delay it for a turn, get the Death Star down, get more units down, play more missions, interrogate Mon Mothma, that things could look a lot better before things start going on the cube. But then again, you're right, because Moncals are coming down, and if the base isn't Moncal, I'm saying Moncal too often. Rebel cruisers are coming down, and if the base is in Moncal, then it's going to be reinforced even more. So it's a difficult parallel. If you don't attack, the rebels will reinforce next turn, and if the base is there, you definitely won't win. If you do attack, you could lose your entire fleet and have no reinforcements. That's why the early base in Moncal is sometimes used. Sometimes used. Again, it's very specific. It's not going to happen unless Empire doesn't have Seleucami. I have had games where the Empire hasn't had Seleucami or Mandalore. Yeah, that is difficult. Okay. Just assigning missions. We didn't talk about Chewie. Terrible leader if you're playing Empire. Not fun at all. Vote in the poll. We have like about 9 people and about 5 votes, so I can talk about that later. Chewie, not a fun leader. Great leader for the rebels. 3 Fists is very useful, especially considering that there isn't many 3 Fist rebel leaders. Saw is not as good as Chewie. Especially since you can recruit him early on, but you lose 1 reputation with this card, which a lot of rebel players do not want to do. Of course, I missed that part, so we wouldn't know if he had the opportunity to. And there is one of the, if not the best, uh, Imperial action card in the game, which is Brilliant Administrator. Basically, free Star Destroyer, free TIE Fighter. It's basically address delays, but as an action card. Now, normally, people play it early on, but I can see why you might want to delay it till now. You're having a steady stream of units, so there's less of a chance that you'll have to just leave stuff on the queue. Now, I don't know these players. I haven't watched these players before. I've heard a couple things from Eiddee. I think she's pretty good, from what I've heard, but no promises. So, but right now it looks like the poll is 20-80 between Eiddee and Derrode. I need to ask the names. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I think that the Empire's doing a lot better than they were last game, but very even, I'd say. Especially for route setup, I'd say it's pretty even. I think it was an odd play. I think I'll have to ask the players after the game why Eiddee didn't block on Kato, because Rebels getting loyalty in Kato is definitely a step in the wrong direction. But perhaps someone who is better than me, Cornell maybe, could let me know on why that might happen. Again, players are not watching the stream. Okay, let's see if an interrogation mission is played this turn. I doubt it, because it's been quite a hot minute, but I guess we'll have to see. Rebels being down leader is bad. It's bad. Build Alliance, again, being played by a leader with only one Diplo. I mean, John has one, Lando has one, Riken has one, and Leia is benched. So, I would block. I would play this game as Empire, knowing that I will leave a leader back to block a Build Alliance, because blocking Build Alliances is like a dream come true for the Empire. It can stop so many Rebel objective cards that it's not even worth it. Which, interesting, by the way, no objective cards have been played yet. That could either be because they've been difficult to score, Eddie's been doing well, or there's just been pretty bad objective cards. Last game, definitely check that one out. There were too many good objective cards. Like, I think every single one was played. That's when you know things have gotten bad. Is that 3 missions? I thought I said 5. 3 missions, okay. Makes sense. Okay, Palpy on a mission. This is where interrogation could be coming. Also on a mission, if I'm playing the Rebels, I'm hoping that that is not also a special mission, but if it is, definitely worth playing. Okay, a little bit of a shuffle there. Interesting. Both the Rebel and Imperial build queue looking very good this game. Pretty fair, I'd say. If, again, this parallel that we talked about, if Empire doesn't strike in Mon-Cal right now, that is a free Mon-Cal for the Rebels. So we'll see what Eiddee decides to do. I'm not sure what I would do in this position. I think what Richard said makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting to think about it that way, because you can either attack, risk losing your whole fleet, or not attack, but then not have the opportunity to attack again because there'll be reinforcements there. So we'll have to see. Since one of the issues I have with route setup is, since Death Star is always in Dagobah, because you only do it if you don't have Silicamai, which the reason it's in Dagobah is so that you can attack Utapau. But because the Death Star is always in Dagobah, there's not much variety in the base picks. It's going to be in the top left corner of the map. It's not going to be in the top right corner of the map. It might be in the bottom left. I've seen a Malastare base. That was not fun. Malastare is the center planet right here. But Hoth and Endor is just risky. Ryloth and Tatooine is just risky. Ryloth and Tatooine can definitely work, but I feel like Hoth and Endor is just like, nope, not a good idea. Because Ryloth and Tatooine are 2 away from the Death Star, whereas Hoth is 1 away. Or 2. The others are 3. But we'll have to wait and see what base Ryloth's picked. Probably Mon Cal, but we'll have to see. Because there will be a base move. We all know that for sure. The Empire will eventually build up a massive enough force to just push straight into Mon Cal. That's pretty much guaranteed with any game. With any game that the base is in Mon Cal. That is. Okay, Lando doing infiltration in Alderaan. Makes sense. Every single infiltration play has been first time, I believe. One day when the streams get really good, we'll have like percentages and win rates and so on. Still working on that though. 3 objective cards. We're on to level 2s. So Rebels have seen level 2 objective cards. Plan the assault. Okay, here we go. What does this tell me? First of all, the Rebel party is getting started. But number 2 is the Rebels are either really trying to conceal that the base is in Mon Cal, or the base isn't in Mon Cal in the first place. Yeah, as Eiddee said, that is most definitely exciting. Yeah, most definitely exciting. Yeah, well, let's see how many units are moved. Piet being sent over. Now, if this is ready for action, this isn't good for Rebels. Because if they lose this battle, pull away, attack Mon Cal, Mon Cal's dead. If it's the base, it's not dead, but if it isn't the base, then it is dead. Plan the assault is very interesting. I find it very interesting. Again, Rebels can retreat out of Silicon towards Mon Cal, but we'll have to wait and see. Yep, 3 Mon Cals. Not fun. Not fun. But Death Star coming soon. Yeah, that's true. What Stack said. Destroying a Star Destroyer, especially when you look back at other Star Wars Rebellion games, I'm blanking out. Destroying a Star Destroyer is difficult. But, hold on. I'm either not reading something correctly or plan the assault. Did Rebels decide not to go plan the assault because they said Piet? I'm a bit confused to say the least. Hold on. Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, Piet blocked. Dice were there. Yep. Okay, I should have looked at that right away. Wow. Piet blocked. Okay, thank you for pointing that out, guys. Yeah, I should have seen that. Piet blocked. Okay, wow. I was not expecting that. Rogue Squadron raid. Dice roll for that one. See over there. Okay, lucky roll for Rebels. Star Destroyer off the queue. But wow, Piet blocking, plan the assault. Wasn't expecting that, to be sure. Yeah, Sack's right. Because there was no fight, Piet doesn't come back with ready for action. Which, I don't know. I don't know if that was a good thing, a really good thing, or a really bad thing. Because right now, the fleet on Sukhumai is not moving. It's not moving to Moncal, which means guaranteed Moncal. By blocking with Piet, um, Rebels or Empire has made it, has put themselves in a very interesting situation. Now let's see if Oslo's doing Oslo stuff. That is his card. If that's R&D, it wouldn't be played in Utapau, but it probably is address delays. R&D can only be played in Los. So, Interdictor. This is already looking like a fun game. I love it when Interdictors come out. I think they're such underrated units. I think if in the right hands, they can be very good, but at the very least, they are underrated units. Superstars are just very powerful, but Interdictors in the right hands, in the right fleet, with the right tactic cards, because the Interdictor tactic card is very good, is pretty amazing. Okay, looks like we had a sabotage attempt. Got through on Seleucumai. Okay, I'm still, even with the plan the assault, I'm still thinking the base is in Moncal, because that sabotage is, if it's not Moncal, then Rebels are playing an absolutely amazing game, convincing me that it is. Also doing probes. Nope, R&D. Okay, more R&D. Fishing for Superstar Destroyer. Construct Factory. Construct Factory couldn't be this good, or couldn't be that good in this game, or in the next round. Wow. Okay, build queue coming soon. Looking good for Empire. Looking very good for Rebels with the with extra Moncals going. Looks like the polls haven't changed too much. Still 33% for Eiddee and 67% for Derrode. Interesting why you guys think that. I don't know. I feel like it's still pretty split. Pretty good chances for either side. Someone could talk about why they thought. I don't know. I think it's still pretty split. Okay, let's see what leaders we are picking. And again, guys, while they're picking leaders, yeah, I apologize about this stream. I figured out what the issue is. I'll know that for next time. And I still have to apologize for last stream, which didn't work because I forgot my keys. But we're here now, so I think I think we have 2 more games left for round 1, so we're going through very, very quickly. To be clear, discarded interrogation makes sense. One of the worst cards, and discarded discredit rebellion, which is also one of the worst cards if you don't have Muddy. Sonic expansion. I used to do a lot of mods for the game. If you join the Discord, which is linked in the channel description, you can see I posted some custom content, specifically adding Thrawn, because I think you should have been there. I mean, they added interdictors, which were directly from Rebels, but that's a Star Wars rant for another time. Okay, building. Death Star coming down. What's interesting to see is where the Moncals are going. Yeah, here, I'll put that comment on screen. That's good. Stat commenting. I completely agree. 3 Moncals is devastating for the Empire. It just is. It's that simple. But the saving grace for the Empire is most definitely that there's no objective cards that have been played. I mean, rule number 1, or oh my goodness, I keep saying rule number 1. One of the many rules for Empire is to block tier 1 objective cards. If you can do that, you're doing pretty well. Now, no tier 1 objective cards have been played. No objective cards in general have been played. Are they going? Is other players going for the Death Star? Perhaps. I'm not sure. But defend. Defend and long war. Those are objective cards where basically you place a marker, and every time that the Empire doesn't get that marker, you score a reputation. Definitely hoping for that one, especially with this style of play. But again, you can see objective cards completely work out like they did last game, with the first objective card being drawn, being Threaten the Core, and then Heart of the Empire later on, which just absolutely nail in the coffin for this game, for the last game. But for this game, Rebels got a lot of ships down, so Lukamai is most likely going to die. And as you can see, the Moncal going in Moncal. So I'm still convinced that the base is there. If it's a bluff, it's a very good bluff. Okay, we talked about Han being recruited. Interesting. Okay. Han with the Falcon, I believe. Yeah, Han with the Falcon. Read the card. Okay. I mean, saving Mon Mothma. I mean, she's kind of just been sitting on Utapau. I think it might be vacation day. Like she's just kind of forgotten about the rebels. Glass of champagne by her side. But yeah, saving Mon Mothma is definitely on the rebel agenda. Krennic. Now, Krennic's cards are immediate, so let's see which one this is. And this is Secret Facility. Good card. We saw it played last time. If you haven't watched that stream, go back and watch it. Good card, especially if you can play it right. You can pull off some pretty crazy captures with it. I've seen that done before, so definitely a very good card. Moncaus being left on the queue, interesting. I guess they're really going for the bait. I think that Rebels right now really want Empire to attack in Moncal, which I think is not a good play. I mean, again, I don't see why you wouldn't deploy Moncaus otherwise to Moncal Mark, but I'm not sure. Not sure. We'll have to see. Now let's see what the Imperial deployment looks like. So we have Shield Bunker on the queue. I suspect that that might be moved around because Rebels can have Death Star plans for sure. They're into the tier 2 objective cards, but are they really going for the Death Star the first time it's out? Could be, but is it worth the risk? I don't know. Just putting the shield bunker on the Death Star, like, this is what I hate about the route setup. The Death Star feels useless because by the time you get it down, the Rebels already have the Death Star plans. It's like Krennic, if you watched Andor, good show. What are you doing? They already have the plans, and we haven't even finished building the thing. So interesting how that can go. Just finishing up the build queue. Yeah, the Imperial build queue can get pretty messy at times. Rural build queue nice and clean. Pristine. 7 votes now. More close. Actually, less close. 2971 on the poll. Okay. Again, I think Stack is right. My view is still it's fairly open because unless these objective cards start working, for Rebels, this game could go on for a long time. Yeah, base decks, so could definitely be holding on to a hidden fleet. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see why. I can see why. No Moncal deployment. But again, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think Empire attacks into Moncal. It's a death wish at this point. But we'll see. I'm most curious about where the bunker will go. Probably on the Death Star. But that's why Brout setup can be pretty bad because Death Star is already sitting on a planet just defended by a bunker. And there's only 3 bunkers, so you can't build like a nice conga line to where the Death Star needs to go. Interesting deployment to be sure. Megiddo just being stacked with units with ground troops, but not many space units. That's something I don't like to see as Empire because although playing the assault has been playing, so I don't know. But just having an inbound stack could be difficult. Here, I've turned the mic differently so I can have more room to see the screen. Um, Hopefully this works better and the audio is still fine. Yeah, YouTube audio. Gotta say, not impressed. This has been pretty annoying to work with. Okay. Um, One of the many questions this game is: are rebels going to try and rescue Monmouth? Which, if so, does the Empire have Vader's card? Now we know one of the action cards, that starting action cards that Empire had, which was Krennic, Tarkin's card. Good card. Nothing to say about that one. Got a Sarastra on, which was mitigated by Rogue Squadron Raid, but still. And the other card could definitely be Vader, especially with that still odd-looking capture play because no interrogation has been played. No interrogation has been played. Lots of mission for rebels. What there hasn't been much of is loyalty. You look at the board right now, not much loyalty for rebels. Not much objective cards either. So those two go hand in hand. Interesting. The interdictor was not destroyed. Rogue Squadron Raid can destroy interdictors because it's 4 health, but rebels chose not to. So it will be up and running next turn. I think I'm hyping up the interdictor a little too much. It may do nothing this game, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what missions Empire plays. Death Star is down, so that's definitely become a target. It was always a target to begin with, but now even more something to think about. Wonder where Eiddee will move the Death Star because it has to go out of Dagobah. There's nothing there anymore. Yoda isn't going to save the Death Star. I always thought that was odd. I think we talked about it last game, but I feel, and this is the saying as a Star Wars fan, not as a Rebellion fan, because in Rebellion it makes sense why this works. But if the system is destroyed by the Death Star, the system should be removed off the game. So you play, you try to play, you get Yoda from Dagobah. It wouldn't work because Dagobah's not there. The Coruscant card, Heart of the Empire, destroying Coruscant. If you've watched the sequels, you know how odd that is in canon. But I'm just going for a rant here. Imperial mission is going to be interesting because Mammoth was still captured at this point. No rescue attempts. They have not really cared. And a potential base in Moncal, just sitting around waiting to be discovered. Secret facility as well. I mean, lots of things to think about for Empire, but lucky for Empire, not many objective cards at all being played. Okay, Vader and Krennic on missions. That tells me interrogation. Now, I've been yapping about interrogation for for a big portion of this game, and it hasn't been played. So we'll have to see. But if I'm rebels, I'm definitely worried about it. And let's jump into the action right now. Lando moving the troops in Moncal to the base, not with reinforcements from the base. Yeah, let's see how that goes. It is so laggy when I move around. But everything else looks fine. Why, I will never know. Okay. This battle, although it is technically not technically even, but fairly even, especially if you look at the fleet, it looks like Empire has a better shot of winning. With PiotrB's card, definitely a better shot of winning, but we'll have to see. Because the Moncal card is just so powerful. It's prevent 2 red hits and play an additional card. Very, very powerful, especially in considering every game, Rebels are guaranteed to get at least 1 Moncal. So, whereas Empire isn't guaranteed to get Interdictor, which is their very good card. This will not end well for Rebels. Why so stack? I don't know. I think they're doing pretty good so far, especially with more Moncals on the way. I mean, this battle could definitely not end well with PiotrB and Overwhelming Presence. Prevent 2 red hits. There's the card. But I don't know. Still feel like there's a decent chance for Rebels to win this combat, but we'll see. Lando, not particularly known for his space abilities, space tactic abilities. Should be an additional black there. No, but no, there won't be because PiotrB's card. Okay, heal and a hit. Not very good at all, to be quite frank, because the hit gets blocked by this card. Overwhelming Presence, and is it still there? PiotrB's card is deadly combo, to say the least. So I can see what Stack was saying. This will most likely not end well for the Rebels. A bit of an issue with rerolls. I don't think I've discussed the tournament rules on this stream, which I think I should do. When it comes to enforcing rules in the game, it will mostly be based on the players deciding. If there's a dispute, then we definitely walk in. That's why I'm here watching as well, somewhat of a moderator. But if you watched last stream, you could notice that I missed something that Cornell very kindly pointed out. Yeah. Here, I'll put that comment on screen. That's good. Overall, yeah, the Imperials definitely missed out on definitively saying that the base is Moncal. But no objective cards on turn 4 or 5, I believe it is brutal for the Rebels. Quite frankly, just brutal. So that is something that needs to get better, or else things are going to go bad for the Rebels very, very soon, because they've been playing very well. But that reputation marker and that time marker are very far apart. I mean, if this doesn't move, there's still like 10 more turns of this game, which I don't think I can sit through. So, although the Empire won the battle, they still cannot confirm that the base is Moncal. Now, I don't know what the probe cards are. For all I know, they could have Yavin, Dantooine, and Ilum, and basically think that the base is either Moncal or Tatooine Wrath. I don't know. So, which ironically makes sense with the move from Naboo to Geonosis. But, yeah, moving Mon Mothma as well. Okay. I would move that Stormtrooper out of Utapau because liberation. No reason to put a blockade marker because there's no loyalty there, but for future, potentially. It's like they heard me. Or maybe not. Yeah. Okay. So now we know what the action cards were for both sides. Um, Imperials being Palpies and Tarkin. Rebels having Mon Mothma. Rebel base is looking very, very good so far. Definitely. John doing some. It is John, right? I keep calling him. Yeah, it's no, Jan. John. Jan. I'll call him John. Jan doing some infiltration. I think Derrode has played infiltration every single um, turn first mission revealed at least, which makes sense because these objective cards are very clearly not working. So something needs to be done. Again, I think that Rebels are definitely hoping for one of those objective cards that they place down, and turn marker slowly ticks down. Everyone knows what card I'm playing. I just cannot think of it right now. I think someone mentioned it in chat previously. Yeah, okay, there. Oh my goodness. Defend the people. No, and Long War. Yeah, I think that's the cards. Um, yeah, objective cards need to start working for Rebels. Either Death or Destruction, which even that, without coupling it with objective cards, is not going to work. Loyalty and Ord. Probably going to have to be forced to crush that if you're the Empire, but we'll see. Yeah, right away. No hesitation, target. Well done. Could be bait, could not be bait, not sure. Coruscant is a lot safer than it was last game. Ozzel, most likely Ozzel's card. You normally don't take. I normally don't take the other card, which is also on Derrode, which is Search the Project deck. I normally don't take that card. If I do take it, it's for Derrode, because risking not having Ozzel when you've taken that card is just not worth it. Yeah, lead the strike team. I think that was what I was talking on Utapau, but it's even bigger on Coruscant. Heart of the Empire possibility. I mean, I think it's a tier 2 objective card, and so far we only have one tier 2 in their hand. So, could be unlikely, but most definitely something to worry about. You need a TIE fighter up there at the very least. No plan the assault, which is good, but lead the strike team definitely on the list of to do things. Let's see what Han is planning on doing here. Or Krennic gathering intel in Moncal. And Leia on September. Okay, this is not going to roll. No pun intended. Well. Okay, 3. Still blocked though. So good roll, but in the end didn't work out. I don't know if Subversion was the right play there. If Vader has done something bad for Mon Mothma, it won't matter too much because Chewie's there. So perhaps, but Jet is also there. So who really knows? Maybe you should have saved Leia for uh, Geonosis support, but we'll see. Not if Hana's going there. Okay, Hana attempting a sabotage, I believe it was, um, and it goes well, and the Falcon has saved Mon Mothma. Poetry. Vader running propaganda. I was about to go and try and fix the thumbnail, but now it's not the time. Um, Big play, knocking out loyalty in Monaco. That is a big move to say the least. No deployment in Monaco now. Those troops are stranded. Um, I think it's the best time to play propaganda because there's no real rebel loyalty anywhere else on the board. So definitely worth it. Also running R&D. No Oslo card, mission card that is yet, but we'll see. R&D being played again is interesting. Um, I've gone games playing R&D every turn. I've gone games without playing R&D. Um, Many of the games that I never played R&D, I most likely lost because you'll need it for sabotage fixing. But we'll see. Yes, Derrode. Oh my gosh, if I mispronounce it this entire stream, that'll be something. Um, yeah, propaganda is a nasty card, but rebels have more nasty cards in my opinion. That's coming from as a. There we go. Okay, rebel cell. Um, Sound the alarm if you're playing as Eiddee here because it's over. Not. It's not over, of course, but finally being able to play an objective card. But the issue is, hopefully I'm reading it correctly, is that it has to be played in any rebel system. And that's not a rebel system anymore. And that's the moment where I realize that the card doesn't work. Yeah, the card isn't going to work. So, I mean, they should take it back, but it's fine. Yeah, that card can't be played because there's no systems with rebel loyalty. Moncal was the plan, but propaganda has just thrown a wrench. But since it's immediate, um, they have to play it automatically. It needs, yeah, you're right. It does need loyalty, but it has to be played immediately. Um, wow. So rebels get the right card, but it was at the worst time. I think that the polls, or I think I might have been right in the polls. I think Eiddee has a very good shot at winning this game now because no turn 5 and no objective cards have been played. That is quite something. Quite something. Let's see what leaders. Okay, Jin. I'm not the best rebel player, but I do know that Jin is often considered to have one of the worst action cards for rebels. Spoonwise saying how he's seen Doobie score 10 points in round one, or in one round. Um, Doobs, if you haven't, I think I have him looked up. If I don't, I should. But you want to watch top tier rebel gameplay? That's where you go. It's that simple. I'm just here casting the games, providing some semi decent commentary, I'd say. Um, you want to watch proper rebel gameplay because I'm watching this from the perspective of all of you guys without seeing any of the cards, without seeing any of the probes. Maybe I'll run a game where I try to do commentary while playing as Empire, but that is much more difficult. I think Spoonwise posted a video on his channel that is in the description of him playing um, Empire while trying to cast. It's difficult because Rebellion is not one of those games where you can just continue talking on. I can, and I even miss some things that these players do. So, um, one of the interesting things about Rebellion. Wow. I think this game has gone on pretty quickly in regards to the turns. I think what, an hour 30 has passed and we're on to turn 5. The issue is that there's still so many turns left in the game because the objective cards haven't moved at all. As Spoonwise said, you can definitely score a lot of points. I think 10 might be a bit too much, but you can definitely score a lot of points as Rebels very quickly. But yeah, that is Rebel Cell getting it and then not being able to play it is brutal. Absolutely amazing gameplay for Eiddee predicting that. I don't know if that was the plan, stopping a Rebel Cell, but if it was, that was just good. Just brilliant. Now, let's see what the deployment looks like. But first, we talked about Jin, Boba Fett, more Fist Leaders. Always good. There are plenty of games that have gone as Empire without getting a single Fist Leader, and then just having Vader. It is brutal, believe it or not. Especially, you're running a capture game, you need Fist Leaders. I'll ask both players about the capture idea on the first turn after the stream, but because that was definitely very interesting. Interesting thing to know was the shield bunker, I believe, correct me if I'm mistaken, was left on the queue last round instead of being put on the Death Star. Death Star sitting there naked. I pretty much guarantee that the Rebels have the plans by either now or by next turn. So that is concerning for if you're playing Empire. But I mean, just look at the Imperial spread. They're all over the galaxy. There's no Rebels in the galaxy other than Mon Cal, which will soon be crushed. So definitely an interesting game. Okay, plenty of Rebel missions. Standard. Nothing to think about there. As an Imperial player, the reason the Rebels assign mission first is because it's very difficult to predict what they might be playing. Obviously, you can use like this leader gets extra bonuses if they play this mission, so that can be taken into account. But it can be very difficult predicting the Rebel missions early on. Fine, but when they have 8 leaders, because Mothma has been brought back into the mix, very difficult to tell. Okay, here we go. Trust in the Force. That's like Jin's OK card, and it's being played in Geonosis. Interesting. Based in Ryloth or Tatooine, perhaps. Is it just bait? Not sure. Most peculiar. Most peculiar to be sure. What I haven't done, I've just been off my game recently. The brackets. We've finished. Oh my goodness, now I can't even remember this. 3 or 4 games at this point, so the brackets have been updated. I think we did 2 games today. Yeah, we already did 2 games. This is the third game that we're doing today. Although the games are numbered in what order we prefer to play them, it doesn't matter. We're just doing round one as round one would. The updated brackets for this game and the previous 2 game results will be posted, hopefully right after I'm done the stream. And I update the graphic. Take Jin for something to fight for and play Rebel Stallion. Isn't Trust in the Forest what Jin was picked for? Something to fight for, believe it or not, would be a pretty good card here if the base is in one count. No, Jin was picked. It's just it was Trust in the Forest that was played, or that was chosen when Jin was selected. Yeah, but that was early on. That was an odd play. Just capturing Mon Mothma. Yeah, it's all good, Zach. Just capturing Mon Mothma, but not doing anything with her. Just, again, beachside vacation, Utapau. I don't think they have beaches in Utapau, but maybe at the bottom of those canyons. Hold on. Okay, I thought I read set from Eiddee, which would be that the Empire is not playing a single mission, which would be interesting to say the least. What do you guys think? I should have like these polls pre-put. What do you guys think about base versus route deck? Personally, I've always liked base deck. I think route deck can be fun, but if we're purely talking about winning the game, I would pick base. I think it's just much more reliable with the loyalty missions and so on. Whereas route is more, not only more mission oriented, but also more capture oriented. I think I could speak pretty well on Empire, but for Rebels, I mean, I could confidently name most of the Imperial mission cards and action cards, but the Rebel mission cards and action cards, I definitely have struggles with. Like Jin's cards, Trust in the Forest, and whatever the other one was, still can't remember. Okay, Leia and Riken on a mission. That tells me rapid mobilization if I'm playing Empire, which means that they're planning to move this turn. Interesting. Definitely interesting. A move this early is not normal. Not normal. But again, is the base in Moncal? We still cannot confirm. So perhaps the base is in Ryloth or Tatooine, and Empire's closing in. So who knows? Old message, but yeah, but Stack was right. Jin was something to fight for. Something to fight for is that other Jin's card. It's normally pretty bad. I believe it involves going through your discarded or played Rebel objective cards. Could definitely have been useful there. So ironic that when Jin is recruited without that card could have actually been somewhat useful. But great. I think that even though the poll, and I mean, you can't change your vote once you voted, but right now it's 25-75. I think Eiddee is definitely winning this game now with that Rebel set. Because again, the board looks pretty good for the Rebels. If you ignore the objective card counter or reputation marker, because 0 objective cards have been scored. 0 reputation has been lost. If reputation was lost, that would make it even worse. But having no objective cards scored, objective cards are the lifeblood of the Rebels. And while having a big fleet is most helpful, it's not going to be if there's still 10 more turns left in the game. Also in Krennic, interesting. What's Boba doing? Because Boba can't move units because he has no tactic values. So the question becomes, what is Boba doing? And okay, big moment there. Feels like every play at the beginning from Rebels has been a pretty decent moment. Bases in Tatooine and Ryloth. Or Ryloth. Now, Empire could have it confirmed because they could have a pro card. We're still here speculating if it's Tatooine or Ryloth. But this is most definitely a pretty massive moment. Just moving fleet or some ground forces too? Yeah, holy moly is right. Stack. This, yeah, wasn't expecting that. I guess, I guess you're right. They should have revealed if Mon Cal was the base or not. Because the entire time, it wasn't. It was just that scare tactic. The base is in Tatooine or Ryloth, which for anyone new watching, which I don't think there is, we only have about 7 people watching. Or of course, replays will be available. We know it's the base because they attacked out of either Tatooine or Ryloth. Because it can't be Utapau, we've been there. It can't be Naboo, we've been there. It can't be Rodeo, we've been there. This is happening on Geonosis, by the way, with Lando at the helm. Now, well, Imperials put a leader because probably not worth it. I mean, this battle looks like it's going to go pretty quickly. Perhaps some objective cards being stored in this battle because right now we need objective cards. We need them now. And the fact that there's ground units suggests that there will be either Liberation played or I think that might be a tier 3, the destroy 3 health with of space units. Yeah, I think that might be a tier 3. But we'll see. Both players only played one space tactic card. Now, arguably, they played pretty important ones, being the Corvette card and the AC card. AC card would definitely come in handy here. But not so great roll from Rebels here. Should I don't know. I've never enjoyed the flat up view. I just thought that looked awkward. So we'll play at a bit of an angle. Just zoom in a bit. Yeah, interesting rolls. Lots of crits, lots of misses, red misses especially. But in the end, that is enough to just put the entire Imperial fleet under damage. So even with a semi-decent roll, still, no cigar. Yeah, 1 over on the Gazanti. Okay. Although not a great roll by any means, rolling 4 black heels. Don't see that every day. I can name many games where 4 black heels could have come in handy, but it had to happen now. Okay, so able to heal the TIE fighters. Not bad. Oh my goodness. No tactic cards were played. These tactic cards were played this turn. Okay. Did some damage to the fleet, but in the end, it's still looking roughly. But I'm interested to see what objective card will be played. That's what I'm really looking to. Still a decent amount of the game left. believe it or not. Turn 5 or 6 we're on. Shouldn't go quiet for too long. You can watch the viewer count drop as that happens. Uh, okay, just making sure I wasn't unmuted. Okay, battle again going well for the rebels. Um, objective card will probably be liberation, but you never know. But losing a speeder, wow. Okay, the ATSC just shooting down the speeder. That's very very good rolls for Empire there. Yeah. No leader was sent to Geonosis. That is, which makes sense. I mean, the battle is. I think it's going a lot better than Eiddee expected it to, but this has just been such an odd game because Rebels have had it so good when it comes to units, but so bad when it comes to objective cards. I'm really interested to see what objective cards they have in hand right now because this is just not looking good. Objective card to play here, probably just deal a damage. No heal. Okay, no heal works. Um, okay. Rebels playing Escort, which pretty much mitigates all the damage to the fleet. So the consideration with Escort is although like you may be may have instinct to play the top one all the time, just in general it works. It's just better. Prevent 2 black kids could help a lot more since there are only black ships. But here it would have been better for top. Again, it's just a gamble. So I mean the Imperial TIE fighters, I can't even call it a fleet anymore, is down. But it's more so what it can take down with it. I am a little bit annoyed that the stream didn't work. The other one, because like I had the intro there and everything, but now I have to put in the thumbnail again. Oh my goodness. It's like a list of chores trying to stream on YouTube. Okay, ground battle gonna wrap up soon, but interestingly enough, we have 2 vanguards left. We don't have 2 troopers left. We have 2 vanguards. Vanguards only shoot green dice. Stormtroopers shoot black dice. Let's see. Okay. This works. My first time trying this, I was like, does that work? But I believe you can play. I'm wrong. Okay. I don't want to talk about. Deal a black damage and destroy a triangle ground unit. This looks like an Imperial victory. Wasn't expecting that. definitely game changing. I think Eiddee has played very, very, very well. To be clear, this has just been going well for us so far, and just not well for Rebels. I don't know what the objective cards are, but they're not working. Let's see what these last tactic cards are. Doing a damage, trying to basically kill each other. I believe if they do kill each other, I think the objective card can still be scored. Someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I mean, it would be liberated still if there aren't any Imperial units. So Rebel victory still, especially if there's an objective card. If there isn't an objective card, then it's kind of just a shoot guns kind of battle. Yeah, even our Rebel player being a bit confused on that. If someone can help me in chat, my rule is, or not my rule. Oh my goodness, I believe from last time I played, I believe it is one. The ground battle is one if because in the end there aren't any Rebel units left. It's you can't call it a tie. You can't call it a loss. Okay, we can. I mean, we can flip through the rules if we need to. I don't know which one to look at. This will probably work. Let's find objective cards. No. Okay, we have the confirmation from. This is why you don't rely on me. Thankfully, Dubes was there to correct my mistake. Yeah, okay, so Crippling Blow is still played, and Objective Card is still played. So a successful victory in the end, but winning Crippling Blow is a lot easier than, a lot easier to play than win a space and a ground combat. So should Rebels have brought more ground units? Probably. I've noticed right now there are no space units in the base, which is always a concern because of Planetary Conquest and other such cards. Crippling is also not able to be scored. Well, Rebels just have better and better. Yeah. Yeah. Dibs, can you clarify on why Crippling Blow would not be able to score? Yeah, I agree. Hold on. Okay, we can look back on this later. No, because the objective card was played right after the combat, so and the timing would be fine in the end because they just swapped it out because okay, we'll see you later. Attack into Salukamai. I believe it's Salukamai, yes. Just attack after attack this game. Piet leading this one, so definitely good chances for the Rebels, or for the Empire to win this, because this Moncal is not going to do much. Moncal card not been played yet, but will this be enough to destroy, to lose the battle? More specifically, lose the Star Destroyer, because that's what really matters for Empire right now. Well, we'll see. I think Eiddee is doing pretty well. There's these objective cards again, even with the crippling blow, it could not. No objective cards have been played other than that, and they haven't worked out when they needed to. So definitely still going well. Excuse me. Looks like Empire is winning this battle. Um, um, 3 damage on the Moncal at the start, and only 2 damage on the start. Okay, better chances for Rebels for sure, but still going well. Losing the Star Destroyer would be pretty devastating in Silicon. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll put that on screen for clarification when people rewatch the stream. Okay, just read through Discord as well. Just bad timing. I have bad timing. Nope, that's the wrong message. Put this one up. Okay, I'm sure both players will rewatch the stream, so that will be clarification for them. And then I'll put the second message up. And I'll put that one up as well. Yeah, I think I mentioned it prior. If you haven't already, check out Dupe's channel. It'll be on the stream now because it's in the video. That's where you check out the real Rebel gameplay. Okay, so going extremely well for Empire. No Star Destroyer lost, and the Moncal is down. So nothing but good vibes for Empire this game so far. Objective card sure being scored, but one objective card. I mean, you ask any Rebel player, one objective card on turn 5, almost 6, is not a good look. That wasn't instant look at my goodness. That was in Moncal. My mistake. So again, not much has happened this turn. Obviously, the important battles, but in regards to missions, John Infiltration, classic play. At this point, because you need to fish through the objective deck. These objectives are not working. Unfortunately for, is it base or route decks? Yeah, we talked about this. That's all right. Both are playing base deck. Easier to commentate for me because I'm more familiar with base deck. Okay, I believe we're looking at tier 2 and tier 3 objective cards. So picking the tier 3 makes sense. That could be game changing, especially since I think someone before in chat mentioned it. Coruscant is definitely under threat for lead the strike team. Not dropping a tie there is a little bit scary, to say the least. Here, I'll put this one on. I think Garth Cater, yeah. Is, I think he still has his game to play as well. He's one of the contestants. Dubes has won many times against me. I'll say that, playing the route deck. One time I played the route deck, and one time I played base. Route deck in the right hands can be even more terrifying than base, if anything. But it's definitely much safer to play base. I think on that we can agree. Again, looking like Ratmo with Leia and Riken. Could predict. Yeah, there it is, Ratmo. So potentially moving the base. The base is on Ryloth or Tatooine. I willing to bet that Eiddee knows if it's on Ryloth or Tatooine because of a probe. But could be. Yeah, I agree that the base deck is consistent, most definitely. And in tournaments, you want to stay consistent. I think so far, I mean, I've only cast 2 games, being this one and the previous one. But they've picked base deck every single time. I don't know if route deck was picked in other games. I believe Spoonwise has some videos on his channel of the other games. Definitely go check those out. I prefer casting not on the ultimate mod. It's just easier to see the whole board, but those videos are still there. Eiddee going up in the rankings on the poll makes sense. I think it's been a great game for her. Great game for her, and not so great game for Rebels. Taj checking out Dantooine. No need to worry about crippling blow anymore. That's interesting though, having crippling blow, but not playing it for so long. Maybe just the mission cards didn't work out. Maybe it wasn't even the objective cards, because we've seen win a space and ground battle on the same in the same combat. That card, which wasn't played because you couldn't play it during that combat, which is still a decent card compared to a lot of the other tier 1 objective cards. So interesting. Maybe just the missions haven't been working on. I mean, if you check out the first game, which was very exciting, we had a Rebel established trade relations on turn 1. So that really put a wrench in the Imperial plans. That's something you never want to see. Turn 1. Sabotage with Han makes you wonder what shoe he's on. Um, Probably the can't even remember the card now, but destroy Star Destroyer TIE Fighter or so on, Star Destroyer TIE Striker. Um, which, speaking of, no, there are TIE Strikers on the board. Always good to diversify your fleets with different variants of TIEs. Death Star going for a trip to Naboo. Now, I don't completely understand that move because unless Construct Factory is being played, which makes sense if Construct Factory is being played, that is remove the sabotage marker and place stuff on the build queue. But the Death Star is defenseless right now. There's no interdictor on it. The interdictor was placed in Mandalore, which I didn't comment on that, but odd interdictor placement. The interdictor is a support chip, to be very clear. In canon, it's a support chip. In Rebellion, it's a support chip. It will not do well by itself. 2 green dice is not going to go well. So, not crippling, but demolition. That's the card I said. Makes sense. Let's see how the roll goes. Amazing Rebel roll, to say the least. But amazing Imperial roll, and it's blocked. Yeah, it's just, if you read the chat in the bottom left, it's just been a rough game for Rebels. They've tried and they've tried, but the objective cards have not been working out at all. Let's see what Krennic was doing. Mentions capture. No. Superstar Destroyer. One of these days, Krennic will be on capture with his one fist. Superstar Destroyer, I would say normally it won't be useful, but with the lack of objective cards being scored, who knows at this point. But when objective cards aren't being scored often, especially if it's a very good Rebel player, which I'm not saying by any means Derrode has been a bad Rebel player. I mean, if anything, he's been very good with the hand dealt. I mean, he had me fooled for the entire game with the Mon Cal base and then the attack on Geonosis. But if I'm Rebels right now, I'm definitely thinking about a Death Star strike because Death Star plans is guaranteed every single game. So that is always an option for objective cards. And objective cards to play. Palps moving the fleet to Tatooine. Now this is where we get to know if the base is on Tatooine or on Ryloth. My guess is Ryloth because generally I'd say it's better. Still cornered off in the map. It's not a remote system, so let's see. And the base is not Tatooine. Tried to fool us there with the mouse, kind of scrolled over. Yeah, okay. So Ryloth base makes sense. Safer than Tatooine, I'd say. And just like I mentioned, wow. Best Imperial player out there. Construct factory to clear the sabotage on Naboo, allowing for a shield bunker to be deployed there. Makes perfect sense why they moved to Naboo now. No trooper left in Dagobah, though. I mean, fine. May have the pro card. And our second objective card of the game. Keep in mind, it is turn 5. Popular support. Play of 6 systems have Rebel loyalty. And you'll see them being marked there. So. Definitely been a while. Definitely been a while. Since an objective card was scored this game. Okay, moving on to turn 6. Rebels slowly catching up. And if Death Star is destroyed, which is less likely with the bunker, but there are plenty of ways to remove the bunker. I mean, I think personally that the bunker's power has been severely mitigated with the route expansion. Well, obviously the route expansion introduced the bunker, but the fact that sabotage also removes the bunker it's not going to work. You're going to need double bunkers. And there's so many other cards, like Madine's card, which could remove the bunker, that lead the strike team. I mean, big commitment, but in the end removes the bunker. So Bunker definitely not as strong as it may appear if you plan for it, which this game is all about planning. Um, Rebels looking at the 8 cards since they had 2 leaders on Ratmo for the base. Now, is this the best time to move the base? Is the question. Personally, I'd say yes. Um, I mean, okay, hold on. Let's think about it. Death Star is not invincible. I mean, the interdictor doesn't make it invincible, but it makes it safer to move the Death Star around. Bunker makes it invincible, but the bunker itself isn't invincible. So it definitely could be time, but then again, what probe cards is the Rebel player looking at right now? Are they looking at Corellia, Alderaan, Mandalore? Because that's not going to help. The fact that they're having a good look suggests that there are some valid options. Because, I mean, think about it this way. You risk not taking the probe cards right now, and what do you get in return? Because if for example, Yavin's in there, if you don't take Yavin right now, then you're not going to get it again. The probe deck is still 8 probes long, so you're not going to see these cards again until later. But looks like we do not choose to move the base, which I can understand. Recruitment is over, so can't comment on that. But massive build queue for the Empire. That is a lot of stuff. Bunker presumably going in Naboo to secure the Death Star slightly secure the Death Star. Okay, looking at the build queue in the bottom left, looks pretty good for Empire, of course. Rebels a little bit lackluster, but with Geonosis, very much so solidifying the base in Ryloth. It is confirmed that the base is in Ryloth at this point. Yes, I would definitely agree. Ozzel is definitely on the table to play right now because Ozzel, I mean, game-changing card, game-changing leader. So I definitely think Eiddee is thinking about playing the card right now. I'll put that comment on screen for future replays. Because this next deployment is going to be absolutely key for the Empire. This could be make or break it. So let's see how this goes. Like Doob said, deploy some Star Destroyers into Rhodia. Just destroy the Rebel fleet in Geonosis. Force a retreat. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this fight goes. Yeah, I'm watching the stream on another screen. It's not as laggy like when they move units around and everything, but as soon as I start moving up and down, it just starts lagging like crazy. And I watched the replays; that like the audio is fine. So, wonder what we can do about that. At this point, I mean, Superstars are not going to play a massive role. Potentially at the end, but probably not. And again, no hate against the players. I mean, I don't know what's going through their minds right now. I don't know what mission cards they have. I don't know what probe cards they have. But Interdictor and Mandalore just kind of heartbreaking. because it's a powerful support chip, but it's a support chip. It's not meant to hover over by itself. The 2 green dice is not going to be helpful. The card is going to be game changing, but by itself, it's not going to be very helpful. I mean, it was they didn't put 2 leaders on the interdictor card, so and putting 2 leaders on the interdictor card is very risky, I'd say, because you're not playing any other cards. But I mean, in my opinion, that leader, whichever leader it was a waste, because right now, instead of ruling by fear or um, gathering intel, they chose to build an interdictor that's sitting over Mandalore. But watch me eat my words, and next thing you know, the base is moved to Yavin, and the interdictor wins the day by walking in. So we'll see. Sorry about that. Okay. What have I missed? Decent amount. Okay, Star Destroyers and Rodeo. This is the moment. Tonight is most definitely the night. Um, Switching around with the Star Destroyers are going. Um, yeah. Um, this is difficult. The bunker was plopped down in a boot, so let's be clear on that. Death Star is temporarily secure. This could definitely be a game altering move. I mean, I'm looking at the board right now because most likely the base is going to move. The only real spots that the base could move without immediate Imperial ratification, big words there, would be Nalhada or Castle, realistically, or Toydara, but potentially there are probe cards there, so not going to be a major concern. Um, yeah, lots of things to consider. Like 3 comments came at once. So yeah, you're right. There is a second bunker on the queue, so that could. But the second bunker couldn't be deployed in Utapau because there's no loyalty there. My question is, where is this? Keep calling it the secret facility. It is secret facility. Okay, where is this secret facility? Is it going to play a major role? Maybe. We'll have to see. Yeah. So um, to deploy units into a system, it needs as Empire it needs to be subjugated or it needs to have loyalty. The units in the system don't matter. The reason a TIE fighter was kept there is in case the rebels built or to stop the rebels from building loyalty there. Because if they do, the system would be blockaded. Yeah, 2 level 1s for the entire game. This one, Rebel Cell didn't count because there was no place to place the cell. Yeah, Death Star plans need to be on the table. Okay, let's start. Both players deployed. Um, Eiddee being very polite there. Um, yeah, that was the moment to think because everything rests on this next turn. Um, if I were playing, I would also. If I were playing, I would also. But who knows? Let's see. Because again, 3 Star Destroyers, a bunch of TIE Fighters, a bunch of TIE Strikers. It would be a battle to be sure. Can't bring the Death Star because that would risk Death Star plans, and without being able to kill all the fighters, not worth the risk. But fighting for Death Star plans is definitely key right now to the rebel step towards victory. Hopefully, there's no delay on the audio compared to the stream. Normally in Rebellion, it's not that noticeable because um, I have a delay normally. Okay. Couple missions for the rebels. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong because I've done this before, but for example, you as Empire, you can play Yularen's card, which is place him in an Imperial system, and then the rebels must say if the rebel base is in that system. You can play Yularen's card and then do your missions. I could be mistaken. I probably am. But if so, that would mean that also would be able to be played and then be able to do your missions. But correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, more rebel missions. Should we back to block? I mean, potential planetary conquest. I doubt it at this point, but always got to keep that on the table. No space units in the base, so that is always a concern. Okay, that's set. Rebel missions, looking pretty standard. Again, it's very difficult to predict the rebel missions. Imperial missions are more predictable, but we'll see. Okay, swapping out Mon Mothma for a different card. I mean, could be mind games. One common thing to do is if you think the other players predicting your cards. Like for example, I'll set all my cards down, stack them all on the first slot, shuffle them up, then reveal them. This obviously is difficult when you're actually playing an in-person game because you're not shuffling your cards, but it's mind games kind of thing to make sure that the other player just has no idea what your cards are. Because when I'm playing in person, it's you can tell if you're really thinking about it. So I like to organize my mission side, but the project ones on this side. I'll put the capture ones on this side. Put the deploy. So definitely shuffle up your missions. I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. After this stream, I will update all the brackets for all the results. 2 games were played today. I believe one of them might have been streamed. Yes, I think it was streamed. Links down below. But we haven't put up the brackets yet. So we'll update that as well. I'll give this video a thumbnail so it's more appealing to watch. And I'll delete the old stream, which if I check now, yeah, it's still sitting there. I mean, it makes the video shorter if like the first 10-20 minute intro isn't playing, but I mean, it's rebelling. These games are going to take a while. Okay. Also, as predicted, that one definitely made sense. If there was a time to play also, it would be now. Now, also has let me down at times. I have a also and I have a bit of a grudge to hold against each other. So let's see how this game goes, how this game plays out, with how this battle plays out. Yeah. Now the question is, what units should we grab? This battle is looking a lot rougher than it might have before. 3-star destroyers is no joke, but I mean, a couple fighters, a couple strikers. But it's gonna be a tough fight. Interesting. The entire game there were no 3-space rebel leaders, so Lando is the best shot for the rebels to have a good space battle. Now it is more evenly matched because also only has 2. I'm guessing we play flip the combat here because cancel the card has already been played by the rebels. Yep, flip the combat. Wow, but it's a flip, so nothing changes. Or no, it's not. Okay, so quick tip: you don't have to play. If you have the Nebulon or if you have the bottom, you don't have to play each one, depending on the ship. It's not dependent on the ship. You can play the top one if that ship is present in the system, but if it's not, or if it is, you could still play the bottom one. So that just ran away from chat. The row player, Derrode, has chosen to play top one. Interesting, but so because that would flip the combat. Interesting to be sure. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Yeah, Cornell commenting on the Cato block. Cato's been loyal for a while. I think that was at this point an hour ago. Yeah, blocking Cato was the right move because I mean Palpy and Vader were available to block, and it was just Riken. I mean, what does the guy know about diplomacy? So definitely the right move to block on Cato looking back. And I agree with Stack. Flipping the combat. It's one of the most powerful cards, one of the most underrated, if anything. I would have played bottom here. I think it pays off in the end. Going first is a big disadvantage. Yeah. You don't want this fleet running away from Coruscant because, again, Coruscant is still without fighters in the sky, which an oversight by the Empire, perhaps, but definitely a concern. Yes, you're right. Rebels should be rolling 3 green dice. I'll comment on that. It's okay, Corn. It's okay. I mean, I had to miss like a couple of games that I couldn't stream because I wasn't available. But watching the replays is always fun. I remember sitting there at 10, which for me right now it is 5:30 p.m. So still pretty early in the evening. But I remember watching Wombat streams late. Always something to learn from these. Maybe less so from me, but I mean, when we get to grand finals, which is when we're going to start, grand finals is going to be best of five, things are really going to start heating up. I am definitely excited for those upcoming games. We're still in round one. I mean, while this battle is playing out, I cannot believe how quickly we've gone through all the games. Um, two more matches left in round one, and then it's over. It's going to get more complex once best of threes kick in. But next will be round two, um, which we'll see some familiar faces from round one in round two, but we'll also see some new faces. We put the what we consider top seed players in round two. Of course, we had a couple that weren't, so they got a bye towards round two. Um, but we'll see how those matches go. Um, definitely of the some of the best players. Yeah, Flip the Combat is just absolutely devastating. Um, yeah, there's no other way to put it. If you are not in control of the combat and you can only play this card once, um, it can really throw you off. Now I think I made an expansion where um, I added a tactic card and it was like either discard or draw one random space or tactic card. I thought was pretty cool. Added a mix to the game, but hey, I'm not. I don't know very well about balancing the cards, um, but I do like to test them every now and again. Off topic. Um, Imperial Retreat? Question mark. I mean, I'd say the combat went pretty well, but not sure how winnable this is. But Retreat to Tatooine, Tatooine? Retreat to Tatooine makes sense. Makes sense to be sure. Lining up for a attack on Ryloth. The bunker isn't going to be very useful because how the bunker works is you deploy it. Again, if Oversea Project, I mean, Oversea Project could be a crazy play. Oversea Project on Tatooine, be able to deploy units. I think I might be thinking too far ahead, but um, yeah. But that is a pretty massive fleet, and if the rebels were to attack next turn, I mean, they're going to have to. They're going to have to attack next turn. But reinforcements are most definitely on the way. Ion Cannon was picked instead of Shield Bunker. I didn't notice that. Now zooming in on the ground forces, they're more quaint than I thought they'd be. Yeah, for sure more quaint than I thought they'd be. So perhaps Ion Cannon was the better play. I don't know. I just feel like Shield Bunker would be better. Interesting pick for the building. Yeah. Okay. So I believe I'm correct. Also can be played. No. The Death Star didn't go to Geo because first of all, if the Death Star moved to Geo, that'd be threat of a. Or are you suggesting that the Death Star should now go to Geo? I agree. That could work. Again, risky because out of the bunker's range. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So definitely risky, I'd say, because it moves out of the safety of the bunker. But then again, no fighters yet, so definitely up to Eiddee. Playing very well, I'd say, very well. If you watch the previous stream, I tend to be more biased towards the Imperial player when it comes to Conti. Don't tell him that. But no doubt, Derrode has been playing very well. It's just been the objective cards that haven't been treating him very well. And last game, it was very similar, except it was the Rebel objective cards that weren't treating the Imperial player very well. Yeah, Dubes is right. I should have commented on that. If you move the Death Star to Geonosis, this is why Interdictor Death Star is a deadly combo. not only because it defends, but because it also stops retreat. If you move to Geonosis, sure, you may destroy a Moncal, sure, you may destroy a Nebulon, but you're not going to destroy the entire fleet on the first round, which would allow Lando to retreat to Rilo. So, and of course, it leaves the safety of the bunker. So I would not move the Death Star towards um, towards Geonosis. I'd just let it sit pretty, which is again, we talked about this before. Why the voice crack? Why the route setup isn't as great, because the Death Star is just going to sit there and do nothing for a decent portion of the game. Yeah, we should get Dubes onto one of the streams. Here, I'll put that comment up. If we were to attack in Geo, not only would it leave the safety of the bunker, but public uprising is now a threat. Which, as Emperor, you got to consider everything. And Mon Mothma's on a mission, and Leia's on a mission. So, Leia builds alliance, Mon Mothma public uprising, possibility, to be sure. Secret mission, drawing some mission cards. No Andor, so not as terrifying, but still a big play this late into the game. Yeah, while we're on this is why Dupes is one of the best rail players. I don't know how I mean, you can plan out so many things, account for so many things as the Empire, and as you play more, you'll get used to it. But like public uprising, I didn't even think of that. Public uprising has not been played yet, so there's just so many things to think about. Yeah, Dubes is right though. Riken on secret mission mission means no hidden fleet. I should remove that comment. I need to like kind of. It's 2 minutes. Taj doing draw them out. Peculiar. Chewy. Okay. Planetary Conquest. If you're a Rebel player right now, what you're thinking is Planetary Conquest. Draw them out. Planetary Conquest. Deadly combo. This could end the game. Again, you'll you'll still need good dice, but that would be dangerous. Yeah. Infiltration from John. Makes sense. Interesting to play Naboo, as we discussed previously. Probably no move from the Death Star to Geonosis, because it doesn't make too much sense, but you never know. Yeah, I'm looking at the Derrode mod. I don't think that there's another option other than Boba being on planetary conquest. Um, I think that is pretty clear at this point. Tarkin doing what? Interesting, I'd say. Um, Superstar Strip, what's the plan here? Is Krennic on Oversea Project? I think I talked about this before. Krennic on Oversea Project, drop the bunker in Tatooine. Superstar Strip, think it could be a crazy play. Think it follows the rules. Covert Ops. Um, yeah, Jin doing Covert Ops makes sense. Um, Rebels hoping to score a couple of objectives, but at the end stages of the game here, it's probably not going to matter too much. They don't have tier 2 objective cards, which means that they skip the Death Star plans for tier 2. Good think about that one. So perhaps the objective card will come in play. But again, they are what, about 5 away from being within the winning 1 to 2 turns range Rebels. So I don't know. These objective cards are just not working. They're gonna have to score a tier 2, another tier 2, and a tier 1 just to get there. Vader moving to Yavin. I wish that was odd because Yavin is a gas giant, I believe, in Star Wars. So how could you have the base on Yavin? It'd have to be on Yavin 4. Perhaps that's the story behind it. Side rant. Han, Leia, and Mothma. More and more, I'm feeling Mon Mothma might be on Public Uprising, but that could just be me thinking about it too far. Sabotage. Okay. Should have expected that. Trying to remove the bunker. No one really to block with. Piet is gonna fix this one. So, but not removing the bunker. Instead, sabotaging Naboo. I mean, it makes sense because there aren't any fighters in the area to destroy the Death Star. So, just limiting what you can deploy in Naboo, I guess. Okay, Krennic. Krennic doing secure the plans. Okay, no subversion already been played. Most definitely the Death Star is pretty much secure at this point, unless we do lead the strike team, which the Antoine lead the strike team possible, unlikely, because it have to be played next turn, and by next turn the attack on Ryloth would have already happened. Ratmo potentially being played because Mon Mothma could be on it. I remember I used to do Mon Mothma on rapid mobilization, and it was always weird to play it. Not the best rebel player, I'd say. Both players having a good think about this one makes sense. Tight game, close game, a lot closer than the previous one. It's just the objective cards which haven't been treating our rebel player um, very friendly. Wonder if there was a public uprising plan, because definitely thinking about this one again. Throwing a wrench in the plans. Wow. Dubes reading Star Wars Rebellion like a book. Public uprising. Uh, probably aimed at the Death Star, but playing on Orb. Wow. Um, full credit to him. I'll pull up that comment if I can. Yeah, there it is. Yep, Dubes just read it like a book. Mic drop kind of thing. Wow. Did not expect that. Okay, so little skirmish and Ord. Scoring objective cards, potentially. But I can't help but feel the plan was Death Star strike. Wow. Dude said it and it spawned in. Oh, okay. Gotta give credit where credit is due. Dealing you red damage and 2 black hits. Definitely a better card for Rebels. We do know that they have win a space and a ground weapon, so potentially trying to score that one. Maybe trying to score something else. Definitely on the table. But with that roll, it may be difficult. I mean, heal, not bad, but yeah, 2 crits and a hit is just going to cut it. Yeah, just had nowhere to play the public uprising because the Death Star was defended. Just finishing up the combat on the ground. Trooper versus Trooper. Oh, wrong button. Trooper versus Trooper. Epic rap battles. Both playing play additional card. So, or no heal. Flipping the combat. Yeah, flipping the combat. Yep, just cycling through the cards. Potentially save the AT-AT card for the battle on Ryloth. Yeah, in just an unlucky fight. Manwatha not exactly well known for her commanding skills. Bubba on Planetary Conquest. Been talking about it for the entire turn. It would be peculiar if it didn't happen. Because of that bait with Taj, draw them out, only makes sense if At least I feel. Hold on, hold on. Don't turn the okay. Um, Death Star to Geonosis. Oh my goodness. Even wow. Wow. We might have a yep, and um Derrode caused the game. So we were talking about the interdictor, and not allowing retreat, but Piet does the same exact thing. Um it's a trap. Yeah. Wow. Um well played. Wow, I didn't even, so yeah, they couldn't retreat because Piet was the one who was ready to right always ready to go. No retreat. Um they're keeping them saying, wow. You can hear the shock in my voice. I was not expecting that by any means. Um it wasn't planetary conquest, it was just hunt them down. Makes sense, prevent Shui from getting there. Yeah, definitely well played to both players. Um, Rebel Cell was disappointing. Yeah, so mission cards, plenty of interrogation missions. Potentially they got it this turn. Um, that being homing beacon and okay, so we had threaten the core, which uh, that was I guess the idea with Ord, kind of. Yeah, as Eiddee said, it was definitely a mix of luck, um, but that play at the end there, just wow. Okay, um, we'll listen to the players explain a bit. Yeah, just wow. Okay, um, okay, unexpected. Um, I should make title cards for like who wins, but Eiddee has won this game. We'll have the brackets posted shortly. Um, GG to all involved. I'll let these players talk it out. Um, thank you to everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next stream.